So this is a massive national security risk and nobody's talking about this. Nobody's considering this. And this is the collapse of our medical system. All right. There's something seriously wrong going on. And what if a natural disaster happens? What if a war does break out? What if something does happen and a nuclear device is detonated and we need a ton of medical staff right away? What are we going to do? All right, so there are massive nursing shortages happening right now. And the link to this is people are being trapped inside of a hospital. All right, they are being trapped in hospitals. They can't discharge because there's no care for them to take care of them. All right, so people, it's this article out of the Guardian was saying approximately 1 in 4 hospital patients. This is nationwide. Some areas there's no people, some areas there's a lot. But nationwide, approximately 1 in 4 hospital patients cannot check out because they can't get the proper care when they check out. They need physical therapy or they need a on-call nurse. They need somebody there to take care of them. And there's not enough people to do the job right now. All right. And this is because nurses have been pushed out of the profession the past 2 years. They have been micromanaged. They have been mandated. They have had all this stuff put on them. And a lot of them have quit. All right. I had a neighbor the past year that was a nurse and she quit as soon as all this stuff happened. She quit because she was in a very rural setting, very rural hospital, and it was very laid back. There wasn't a lot of micromanaging. And then as soon as all this stuff hit, she was forced to just be micromanaged and everything has to, be a part of the system. It's like hospitals could kind of operate on their own before. But once all this stuff hit, they could no longer have autonomy. They had to follow the rules or they would not get funding for their hospital. All right. And she was also mandated, there was mandates for all healthcare workers. And she did not want to do that. She did not agree with that. And she had to step down. All right. So this is happening nationwide. Nurses are stepping down. Doctors are having burnout because people are quitting and they're making up the slack, but people are getting burnt out because they're working 14 hours, 16 hours. Some doctors, 18-hour, 20-hour shifts just to get through, just to make it through because there's no one else but them, right? So this is the collapse of our medical system. What happens if something huge actually does happen? And I was reading on the FDA's, sorry about that, own website of the shortages. You can Google it. FDA medicine shortages happening right now. And one of the main things they kept listing, which is so strange and kind of shocking, is sodium chloride. So sodium chloride is essentially the chemical that's in IV bags. And it's just a salt. It's just an electrolyte. But it's a critical electrolyte that your body needs to survive. What happens if there is a nuclear strike? There is a natural disaster. There is more hurricanes. There's earthquakes, tornadoes, droughts, massive war, famine, food shortages. People's health are not going to be at the top if we're facing food shortages, recessions. People are having to cut back. People are stressed out. People's health is going to deteriorate. Right? I got sick a couple weeks ago because I was stressed out. I was traveling. I was not sleeping, not eating well, and I got sick from that. All right, just from that. So what happens if things get even worse and then our medical system is also collapsing? All right, this is intentional. This is on purpose. We've seen our medical system just falling apart the past few years. All right, I remember my dad had to deal with the VA constantly, and it was terrible. It was terrible to get any kind of care. He always just went to his private doctor. He ended up just going to his private doctor all the time and just having like outside insurance outside of the VA and would just pay out of pocket sometimes. because he couldn't wait a month, 2 months or whatever to go to the VA, right? And this is how we treat our own veterans in the United States and with our medical system, right? They don't get the care they need. And I mean, why would we expect anything better for us if we can't even take care of our vets? You know, that's my dad had to deal with this all the time. And it's you just don't get the proper care that you need. And he would go to some of the biggest ones in Tampa, and it would still be a struggle to get the care you need, and it would still take way too long. All right. There's also acetaminophen shortages. So this is just a simple thing to bring your fever down, just a pain reliever. Very simple thing, very common medicine, probably one of the most common medicines in the world. And there's shortages of that too, right? If you've gotten Tylenol or any kind of pain reliever or a fever reducer in the past 6 months, year, couple years, you might have noticed that the supply of it is very low on the shelves. All right, just another thing. What if a massive war breaks out? What if a disaster breaks out? We need this medicine right away. It's just all these things are critical. We take for granted, having acetaminophen, having IV bags, and it's getting to the point where these are in short supply as well. All right, we're turning into like a third world country where we can't even provide IV bags. People are gonna die from dehydration in America. All right, it's crazy. And if you just need an IV bag, it's hard to get one. All right, my wife's been desperately dehydrated before, and she was struggling with it for months, and because she was sick, and it was so hard just to get a doctor to give us an IV bag. It was crazy. It was like such an ordeal. It was like people thought we were trying to get like drugs or something because we wanted an IV bag because my wife was dehydrated. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. Maybe it was because the shortages, maybe they're in short supply, so they don't want to just like give them out. But we had to end up calling private doctors to get IVs and stuff. It was like very, home call doctors that only do stuff like that just to get IVs because no one else would give us IVs when my wife was severely dehydrated and had trouble eating and stuff. So very strange, our medical system's just going downhill, guys. And I just keep thinking about it too. What if something does happen? What if a massive war does break out? We saw this ICBM go over Japan just today. All right, if you didn't see that video, go check it out. This is very serious. All right, North Korea has literally fired a ICBM over the island of Japan. All right, so very serious. We need to get our medical system in order. This is a national security risk. And let me know, are you a nurse? Are you a doctor? Do you work in the medical field some way? Are you a pharmacist? Like, what are you seeing? Are you seeing shortages of these items I'm talking about? Because I saw these on the FDA's own website, but I want to know if people boots on the ground are seeing this too. So thank you guys for watching. Please hit it up down there if you guys like this stuff, like the prepper news. And thank you so much. You guys have a big, blessed day.